Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Fit 40 podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about how to get motivated to exercise and eat better. So, if you're one of those people that wants to improve your health, you want to start moving more, you want to start getting into strength training, or you want to start eating the foods that you know you should be eating, but you just can't get yourself to do it, then this is the one for you. So, pay close attention, break out that pen and paper, take plenty of notes, and you will be set up with a 5-step system to get you going ASAP when it comes to getting motivated to reach your goals. So, before we dive in, make sure that if you are a new listener or you haven't already, be sure to follow or subscribe wherever you're watching or listening so you don't miss another episode. Now, let's start with step one. All right. So, step one to all of this, to get you to the place that you want to be, is to get in the right headspace. A lot of times we try and do this on the fly, while we're driving, while we're taking the kids to whatever they got going on, while you're at work. And there's never actually any dedicated time to sit down and actually think about this. Because I'll tell you right now, one of the big things I notice when I talk to people who are really high performers, whether that be other coaches in the fitness space that are doing big things, like first name that comes to mind is Jared Hamilton. Like, I know he will literally book an Airbnb for a weekend to be alone with his thoughts and figure out his next quarter, for example. Or I've worked with many people who are high performers in the finance field on Wall Street because I was in Jersey, they're in New York, but like all these people would commonly take time to themselves just to sit with their thoughts and understand what the next move is going forward. They're not trying to do everything all at once because they know that that's not going to get them the results that they want because their head is going to be too busy with all this other crap going on. So block out some time, okay? Put it down in your schedule or take 10-15 minutes to go into work a little bit later or show up to work a little bit early, or take a little bit of time to yourself once you're done with work to sit in your car with your notepad and do this. Or if your kid has practice and you're waiting on them, perfect. If you have nothing else going on, take some time rather than watching them do their thing. Just take 10-15 minutes to yourself and sit with this system and really think about it. All right. And if possible, if you are really stressed out, try and take 5 to 10 minutes to bring yourself down, whether that's through meditation, breath work, anything in that realm where it can bring you down to where you need to be. So we're not so heightened on emotion. We're not so heightened on these stressors that are going on that are going to cloud our judgment and not allow you to actually get the answers that you're looking for. So, like I said, block it out, make that time is step number one. Now, once you've done that, once you have the time to yourself and you're in a good headspace, step number two is to make it very real. See where you're at right now. No, like one of the best things to ask yourself is, what is my current trajectory? What am I on pace for? Am I on pace for bad health outcomes down the road? Am I on pace for just staying stuck where I'm at? Am I on pace to be in a better position down the road? Where are you currently? And what are the consequences of doing exactly what you're doing right now? So, being that we're lacking the motivation to get to the gym, to eat better quality foods, that trajectory is probably going somewhere along the path of possibly ending up in the group of people that is pre-diabetic or diabetic. If you're eating tons of sugar, if you're eating tons of excess calories and putting on a bunch of excess body fat, that could lead you down that path. It could lead to cardiovascular problems down the road. It could lead to a number of different health things. And honestly, a really good way to know is to look at your family history. Like, do you have a family history of X, Y, and Z? And do my current behaviors make that more or less likely? So me, for example, my family history is the two big ones: blood pressure and cholesterol. So I know for a fact I need to put a high priority on making sure that I am doing everything I can to adjust for those and make sure I live a lifestyle that's going to account for that. So most recently, my blood pressure has been an issue. So I focus on bringing my sodium down because it's important to me, because it's real to me. And that's the key here. It's like, it's got to be real. It can't just be this out there concept of like, well, I'd like to do this. And it's like, cool. But why? Like, why does it fucking matter? Pardon my French, and I apologize if there's kids in the car listening, but why the hell does it matter to you? That's the big question here. And that is where this next, I'll call it 2B, like the next step is finding your real why. So the way to do this, and I do this on every single kickoff call for every new client, we go through the why exercise. And you can do it yourself. It always helps to have an unbiased third party because you get the best answer that way. But to give you something to use on your own, okay, you can do it yourself. Write down, what is your main goal right now? Lose 20 pounds or get stronger, build more muscle, whatever it is. Let's go with the lose 20 pounds example. Okay, now all you simply have to do is ask yourself, why? Why do I want to lose that 20 pounds? Well, I want to lose this 20 pounds because I want to fit better in my clothes. Great. Why do you want to get fit better into your clothes? Well, I want to have more confidence. Cool. Why do you want to have more confidence? Well, I want to have more confidence at work so I can show up the way I want to show up and perform better. Awesome. Why do you want to do that? Well, I want to be a good example for my kids to show them exactly what it's like to live a high quality lifestyle where I'm healthy, where I'm a high performing individual, and I'm very fulfilled in what I do. Bang, there's your answer. Okay. Being the example for your kids. All right. And a lot of people listening right now, that probably is your real why, is like, okay, I want to show them what a healthy lifestyle looks like in every aspect of the word. So even if that's not yours, take a second to do the why exercise. It can clear up a lot of things. Just go to the point where you can't even ask why anymore. Even if it's redundant, even if you are doing this forever, keep going. Just see where it takes you. You might surprise yourself, because when you get to that root cause, I know people in the fitness and wellness industry love that term, root cause. Okay. When it comes to the root cause of why you're doing what you're doing, get clear on it, because just losing 20 pounds, just adding a little bit more muscle because you know it's good for you, it's bullshit. That stuff doesn't actually move the needle. That stuff doesn't get you in the right direction. Clearly, it's not working at this point if you're listening to a podcast on how to get motivated. All right. So you need to take it that step further. You need to get deeper, and you need to understand why you are doing what you're doing, so you actually have a purpose. You have real motivation to do what you're doing. It's not inspiration. It's not this fluff where it's like, oh, I watched this YouTube video or saw this inspirational quote and I feel inspired to do something, but I never actually do. True motivation is a true purpose. All right. Now, once you have figured out what that real reason is, get honest with yourself. Break out the schedule, break out the finances, see what your behaviors have been like. So let's take that one by one. When it comes to your schedule, do you have time to exercise a little bit? And that could be as little as 10 to 20 minutes. Like, I have people in the Fit 40 Kickstart right now. The link is down below if you want to get in on it. But I have Kickstarters right now who are literally just doing 10 minutes of stretching, of walking, and they feel so much better than when they started. All right. That you don't need a ton of time, but there might be people listening to this podcast like yourself that have 30, 40, 50, 60, maybe even more minutes than that. And we're just not doing it. So take a look and see, how much time do you have? And if you don't have a ton of time, not a problem. Okay. You can find workouts that will fit your style of schedule. There's no excuse not to do something. We all have 10, 20 minutes in the day. Even if we have to link that to something like doing it like a 20-minute workout with a set it and forget it recipe. If you have young kids, waiting until they hit nap time and potentially getting some sort of a circuit style workout in during that time, there's always something to be done. You just got to figure out what that is. And then next is finances. Have you actually devoted some sort of financial investment into learning the things that you need to learn, into having the equipment that you actually need? Because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I want to get started with my exercise, I want to do this, but they haven't gotten a gym membership, or they haven't bought any equipment for them to use at home, or the equipment that they do use are those infomercial ones that are like $20 that are pieces of garbage. Okay. Buy right, buy once. If you're going to join a gym, make sure it's got all the equipment that you actually need, that you get excited maybe thinking about. I know Planet Fitness has really stepped up their game lately, so there's literally no excuse not to invest in a gym membership if you have access to it. All right. And then number two is, if you're getting stuff at home when it comes to workout equipment, invest in a solid pair of dumbbells. Now, you might need to do a little bit of a payment plan if it's not doable for right now, but Amazon has tons of plans where it's like $20 a month for X amount of months or whatever. So it's like, it's possible if you truly want to do it. It just comes down to, do you actually want to do it? And is it worth making that trade-off? And then next is your own behaviors. This is one of the biggest things when it comes to me being a coach for other people is a lot of people don't understand that their behaviors don't line up with how they feel they are doing. So for example, like when we think, "Oh, I feel like I'm eating so healthy or I'm eating all the right things." But when we track our calories, we're only tracking 2 out of 7 days. So we have no idea where our calorie count is. Or they do track 7 days a week and they find out, oh, I'm eating all these healthy foods, but it's all this stuff that is super fat based or it's so easy to eat. So because it's ultra processed, even though it's organic or even though it's one of these labels they throw on it, but my calories are way too high. Now we understand our behaviors. Or when it comes to working out, for example, okay, are you actually doing the things that you need to do to get to the gym? Are you packing a gym bag for yourself? Do you have your gym shoes if you want to go on a quick walk? These little things make a difference. So ask yourself, am I doing these to make life easier? Am I doing these things to ensure that I'm going to do this thing more times than not? Or am I cutting myself some slack to the point where nothing is getting done? So, getting honest with yourself really matters to know where you're at. So that way you can game plan for where you're going, which is next, which is number four, which is planning. All right. You got to plan to make sure that it actually gets done. How is this going to fit into my day? Do I have to do, like I just mentioned, the set it and forget it recipes so that I can fit in a workout? Do I need to block out some time this week so I can meal prep? Or maybe I don't have time to meal prep. Maybe I have to learn the concept of lazy prep, which is one of my favorite topics to bring up with people on their initial kickoff calls, but I'll let you in on the secret. Lazy prep is basically just cooking extra when you're cooking dinner. So that way you don't have to go and heat up the pans again. You don't have to clean everything just to dirty them back up. It's like, okay, I'm cooking. I might as well cook extra. And now you have ingredients that you could use throughout the week and they're fresher that way. That's how I like doing it, where it's like, okay, you do it one night and then you got the next day and the day after taken care of. And then by the time most leftovers get gross and nasty, you've already eaten them all. So now it's time to lazy prep another time that night. Okay, that's one way that you could do it. Another thing too, when it comes to planning, is make it fun. Pick stuff that you actually look forward to, because the more fun you make it, the more likely you are to do it. I used to work with a guy. We What do we start, like I don't even know, like 7 years ago, and when we started working one on one together, he would do Pokemon Go. And that would be how he would get his steps in throughout the day. And I'm like, this is genius. When Pokemon Go was a really popular thing, people got in pretty good shape because they just naturally brought their step count way higher. And step count is one of those lagging indicators where it's like people don't really pay attention to it until they understand how powerful it can be. So something like that to get your steps up can be huge. Another big emerging thing in these coming years is going to be virtual reality. So if you're a gamer and you enjoy doing VR stuff, the old school way of doing this would be like Dance Dance Revolution. That is one hell of a workout. If you do some Dance Dance Revolution, that definitely counts. But now they're doing more stuff with the lightsabers, with the cubes that match up with the music. Stuff like that can be an incredible way to just get you active and moving. And that could be a really good starting point for a lot of people to understand, hey, when I do this stuff, it will make me feel better. It results in me feeling less stiff throughout the day, more energized. And it's like, okay, this is why activity is awesome. Now let's try strength training, which everybody seems to say is like the magic pill, which it is. Okay, but you need that starting point. Plan for where you're at. All right. Meet yourself where you're at. That's one of the biggest lessons that we are taught as trainers, as nutrition coaches. And that's where a lot of the general public gets it wrong, is meet yourself where you're at. Plan accordingly based on your lifestyle, based on your goals, based on where you currently are, and then create a roadmap. Don't just assume, okay, I'm going to go all the way to step 26, even though I'm on step one. No, plan it out. You got to take it slow and understand that this stuff takes time. You don't just flick a switch and then all of a sudden you're motivated to do all the right things. You have all the knowledge. That shit doesn't exist. So let's stop expecting it. All right. And then number five is some sort of an accountability system. So whether that's a friend or a family member that is doing it with you, or that is already fit themselves, already eating well themselves, and you're copying them and basically saying, hey, I want to do what you're doing, hold me accountable. If you see me slipping and ordering this thing at lunch, remind me, or something along those lines. And that could be really helpful. But be careful with this, because sometimes if it's a friend or a family member that's doing the same thing you are, where they're in the exact same place, sometimes they could potentially turn into an enabler where all of a sudden they don't want to do it. So you don't want to do it. And then it becomes this negative thing where it's like, okay, well, we're letting each other off the hook every other day and we're not getting the results that we want. So you got to be conscious of that. But there are many examples of people doing this very, very well and holding each other accountable in a positive way. So it could work. Give it a try. The next thing is a gym partner. So this could be the exact same person, or maybe it's somebody that you meet at the gym who is a couple of steps ahead of you, and they just so happen to work out at the exact same time that you do. So now you have a little degree of separation where it's like maybe they're not your bestie, maybe they're not somebody that you're related to, but they are somebody that you see frequently, and you have to keep showing up to the gym to see them, which is really, really helpful. Or let's say you want to copy their diet plan or whatever. Okay, go ahead and ask them, hey, what do you eat? What should I eat here? What? And they might not be an expert, but chances are if they're in decent shape, they're probably going to push you in the right direction where it's like probably eat more protein, probably eat more vegetables and fruits. Just if they ever mention that they're keto or they're carnivore or they're vegan or like they start with that, then probably not a good idea. But if they are somebody who's like, yeah, I eat a little bit of this, a little bit of that, they're very casual about it, you're probably in the right area when it comes to nutrition. And they're probably going to give you some really helpful stuff. But the big thing when it comes to a gym partner is the exercise component. You need to keep showing up to see them. And then last but not least, if you want the ultimate help that there is out there, that's what coaches are for. That's why people in my profession exist. And that's exactly why I do the Kickstart. So you can get it, you can understand exactly what it is for free for 21 days to see if it's right for you and to see if it helps with the motivation factor. If the workouts that are not high impact actually leave you feeling better when you do them compared to when you started them. All right. When it comes to the nutrition, you see, okay, I really don't need to go crazy on nutrition. I just need to nail 1, 2, and 3 things. And I feel amazing. I have less brain fog. I feel more energized throughout the day. And I'm starting to lose weight without even having to think about it. Okay. That's exactly what a coach can help you do. So if you hear all this and you're like, that sounds amazing, how do I do it? Just go down into the description, into the show notes. There's a link. You could check out all the details there. And we start up first week of every single month. So even if you miss the start of this month, sign up for the next one. All right. Go ahead and apply, and I'll reach out and we'll take it from there. And in the meantime, if it's not the beginning of the month, get your butt in the Fit 40 family. I'm dropping daily tips every single day on how to exercise better, how to eat better, how to get motivated, all stuff like this. So get your butt in the Fit 40 family. It's also free. And just for joining, you get free workouts and high protein recipes. So go ahead, click away. And I hope that all of that helps. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you next time. But until then, go kick some ass and screw the scale.